So now that we've discussed the rhetorical appeals in general, I think it's important for us to look more specifically at ethos, which is often associated with the word credibility. So just as a reminder, ethos is when a person or entity presents itself as having good sense, good moral character, or goodwill to make the argument more believable, right? So as you can see below, credibility can be associated with integrity, trust, reliability, authenticity, reputation, regard, and level of commitment, right? So think about those things as you start to look at various pieces of media and even written texts. So examples of ethos in everyday life could be, I have a PhD in this topic, so you should trust me. If you think about the first day of class, oftentimes a professor will tell you what their background is as a means of helping to build a level of trust from you. Like, okay, as a student, if I know I'm taking an English class from somebody who has a master's, right, in that field, then I have a sense of security about the content that is being delivered, right? Another example would be, I've been championing immigrant rights for the last 25 years. You should vote for me. That things like that occur all the time in political speeches and politicians campaigning. I'm an amazing athlete who's wearing Nike or some other brand of clothing. You should buy this product, right? That idea of brand endorsement as a means of building your trust in a particular line of clothing or products, right? And then here is an example of Tom's video where they're trying to present themselves as a charitable organization. I shouldn't even say trying, really. They are presenting themselves as such. So let's go ahead and take a look.
At Tom's, we've always been in business to improve lives. In the beginning, that meant for every pair of shoes we sold, we'd give a pair away. But then things changed.
You led us to new and important causes, and we felt like we could bring even more to the table.
So we made some changes of our own.
We started to give shoes and grants.
Now for every $3 we make, we give $1 away.
Each year, we set aside at least a third of our profits.
And then we give. Guided by our very own giving team,
Our partners,
And the causes you care most about. We give to organizations that make us feel safe.
Make us feel well.
make us feel equal.
Because our vision of a better tomorrow
is one where humanity thrives.
And with every purchase, you help bring us that much closer.
Okay, so let's take a minute and go back to these characteristics, right? And you can see how the Tom's video is articulating the company's mission to be a giving company, right? They started off, if you buy a pair of shoes, they'll give away a pair of shoes. And now they've taken a step further, and for every $3 they earn, they give away one, right? So there's this kind of increase in the level of giving, right? And you can see how they are supporting a wide variety of organizations. All of this makes them look like an authentic company who is committed, right, to bettering humanity. And as a result, there's a sense of integrity and trust associated with their brand, right? So sometimes people say, okay, well, that's great. Like, now that I've seen the Tom's video, I probably can identify it in certain pieces of media. But what does that mean in terms of how ethos appears in writing? So these are various ways in which ethos can appear in writing, which means that as a reader, when you're moving through a text, you should start to identify the various ways in which people are using ethos in their writing. And depending on whether or not it's effective, think about how you can use that as a model for your own writing. So I'm not going to go over all of these specifically, But what I will say is that, as you can see, using reliable sources, noting where those sources come from, especially if they come from somewhere that is known to be a reputable, like a reputable research institution or some type of journal that everybody respects, right? Those kinds of things help add ethos to your writing. When you quote somebody, quickly stating their credentials when you initially mention their name, citing something as peer-reviewed, or if something has received an award, all of those things help add credibility to the sources you're using, and therefore they also add credibility to the argument that you are making. So these are just some things to consider and use as one tool in making your arguments more effective.